let's go ahead and kick it off. Top 5 linebackers of all time for the Clemson Tigers. What you got?
All right, I'm going to start off with my number 5. This is off the cuff. I'm going to go with my number 5. I'm going with Jeff Davis from the 1981 National Championship team, multiple-time All-American, first-round pick. I mean, what more is there to say? I don't think you can have a top 5 without Jeff Davis. Didn't get the pleasure of watching him play, but he's one of the fiercest players just in Clemson history. Just with everything you heard from people that his teammates, fans that watched him play, alumni that I've talked to, he's easily. I probably might have him too low for some people's liking, but hey, it is what it is. I didn't get to watch him play, but I got to show respect to to one of the most important players in Clemson history, and was the anchor of that 1981 championship defense. They were nasty, and he was he was the centerpiece.
Jeff Davis definitely has to be on there. I'm going to pull a guy out. I didn't really do a particular order, but I'll just throw some names out here. Leavon Kirkland, did a podcast on here for a little while, and currently on staff. But Ring of Honor inductee. I mean, just a Clemson legend through and through. Clemson guy, loves Clemson football, talks about it all the time. Won a couple ACC championships. Finished his career with 273 tackles, 19 sacks, and 40 tackles for loss. An amazing career that he had. And like I said, inducted into the Clemson Ring of Honor. It doesn't get much better than that. And that's pretty special. He's a special guy to the program, and he's now on Clemson staff. So shout out to Leavon Kirkland.
That's a great pick. And you're probably going to have some people mad that he's not higher. That's the fun part about this. Like, there's going to be a lot of guys that we're talking about, like, ooh, maybe we should have him higher, or maybe we should have this guy higher. But number 4, I'm going to go with Ben Boulware. I'm always going to have the soft spot in my heart for the guys that just embodied everything about what Clemson is about. That Ben Boulware was that. Just one of the fiercest competitors, regardless of position in school history. Was not the biggest, the strongest, the fastest, but just relentless effort, and one of the just an extremely intelligent football player, and that's what made up the difference, and why I think he'll have the opportunity to be a really, really good linebackers coach here at Clemson. But just never forget that speech after that first national championship. Where he thanked everything, all the guys that came before him. He's just a leader, and I don't think you can tell the story of Clemson's rise to national prominence without talking about Ben Boulware. So I think he's got to be in the top 5.
Yeah, no, I think he's certainly got to be in your top 5 for sure. No doubt about that. For all the reasons that you said, I mean, Ben Boulware is one of my favorite Clemson players ever, just because of the intensity that obviously he approaches the game at. Suplexing players on the field. You mentioned his great speeches. I always think about the Hurricane game with Notre Dame, that last second stop that he said wasn't even really him that did it, but he just gets credit for it because of the antics that he did after the play. He's a guy that knew he wanted to come to Clemson, and nothing was going to stop him from coming to Clemson and being successful. And that is just kind of, he's got to be up there for me for that. And then obviously to be a part of that first national championship of the Dabo Swinney era, the second overall in program history. But Ben Boulware's definitely got to be up there. So he's definitely on my list. Well, let's see somebody who you haven't said that's on my list. Let's see who I got. I'm gonna go Keith Adams. Keith Adams.
Great pick.
Great linebacker, 1998 to 2000. He was a finalist for the Butkus Award. Um, you know, had a good pro career as well. Two-time All-American, just great Clemson linebacker. One of the names that you just think about when you think about Clemson linebackers. So Keith Adams is up there for me as well.
That's a great pick. Okay, so my number 3, man, this is tough. You already hit on Leavon Kirkland, so I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna keep him off because he was going to be my number 3, but I gotta.
This is gonna end up being a top 10 according to me and Jordan.
Yeah, that's kind of what this is turning into, because it just doesn't feel right to leave this many guys off and have repeats.
So here we'll do this. We're gonna combine me and Jordan's top 5 by just not repeating players.
Okay,
that we've already said.
That's a lot more fun. That way, more guys get more love. So
yeah.
Okay, so my number 3, I'm gonna go with. Man, this is tough. I'm gonna go with Anthony Simmons, and that might actually be kind of low, but because he was like a unanimous All-American multiple years. Like you could honestly make an argument he's the best in school history, but like I said, I'm going to have bias towards the guys that I watch play. We've had Simmons. The last name Simmons, when it comes to Clemson linebackers, there's going to be a trend here.
Don't worry about it. I'm going to talk about the other one.
Okay. Good. And then I might have to mention another one too. So that's tough. But I got to go with Anthony Simmons. I think he's a 3-time All-American.
3-year AP All-American.
Yeah, that's
3 years in a row. 486 tackles, 52 tackles for loss. Absolute dog.
Yeah.
Absolute dog.
Cannot tell the story about Clemson linebackers without mentioning Anthony Simmons. And he kind of came towards the end of the Danny Ford era.
Yeah.
Honestly, he would have been. What years was he?
95 to 97.
Oh yeah, 95 to 90. Okay, dang, yeah, way after Danny Ford. That was that's Tommy West.
Yep, Tommy West.
Yeah, so he's kind of had the Brian Dawkins career, like great player on pretty mediocre teams.
Right.
Anthony Simmons though, phenomenal. You hear great stories about what he was on the field. Just one of the best athletes in school history. Guy could do it all.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. My next pick, another Simmons. Everybody should know him. He played pretty recently for the Clemson Tigers. Isaiah Simmons, 2017 to 2019, obviously winning the Butkus Award in 2019. Finished his career with 253 tackles, 28 and a half for loss, 10 and a half sacks, 22 pass breakups, 5 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery. That stat line just proves the versatility. That's what I think of when I think about Isaiah Simmons, is just how versatile that he was in this defense under Brent Venables. The things that he could do. And the disruptive nature that he played the game with, just an instinctive guy at linebacker, fun to watch, flying all over the field, rushing the passer, doing all sorts of stuff. So just one of those very versatile linebackers that you just remember because he just had such an impact on the game every single time. So Isaiah Simmons, one of the greats to do it at Clemson.
Another guy I want to throw out there is none other than Dorian O'Daniel. Probably might be a little bit of a controversial pick because there's definitely a lot of guys I could have mentioned, but Dorian O'Daniel was I think he's a guy that we don't really talk about enough when it comes to linebackers. I mean, he was a Butt Kiss Award finalist his final year, multi-year starter, multi-year captain. I think we need to. I think he needs to get more of his flowers. I think he's one of the more underrated players in the Dabo Swinney tenure. And I wish his NFL career worked out better than it did. But he won a Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure
he did. He won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs.
Yeah. So, but this is a Clemson list, so it doesn't really matter. But Dorian, he's one of my personal favorites. So I got to throw him out there. He's not my number one of all time, but because obviously I'm throwing the order out the window at this point. But I had to show a lot of love to Dorian because one of the best players on those championship teams. So shout out to him.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw a guy out, Stephon Anthony.
That's a great one. He was on my list. He was a guy I was thinking of too.
2011, 2014, finished his career with 330 tackles, 34.5 tackles for loss, 9.5 sacks, and 3 interceptions. First team All ACC honors in 2014. Also ended that 2014 season, that Orange Bowl against Ohio State, where he caught that interception and kind of sealed the fate for that game. So
that was a crazy pick. I wasn't sure he caught it like in real time when it happened, but
one of the true greats. I mean, all these guys were mentioned are great linebackers that suited up for Clemson, but one of the greats to ever do it for Clemson, Stephon Anthony. He didn't have the NFL success that I wish he would have either, but again, I wish they had more success in the league, but honestly, all I care about is what they do at Clemson. I do wish them the best in the NFL, but what's most important to me, the Clemson fan, is what happens at Clemson, and he was nothing short of spectacular in his years as a Clemson linebacker.
Yeah, absolutely, a fan favorite. Oh man, Isaac mentioned Kendall Joseph and Trey Lamar. Oh my God, yeah.
He said Trey Lamar is one of those guys that you want walking off the bus.
He was a dog, man. I love Trey.
He looks. He didn't always have the most success on the field that you would have liked him to have.
Yeah.
But walking off the bus, man, that dude would terrify people. Yeah. He was massive. Yeah. Oh, he was massive, dude. Kendall Joseph, another good one, man. Kendall Joseph was a really, really solid linebacker for Clemson.
Yeah, I think you got to throw Jeremiah Trotter Jr. in there. He's he's a more recent example. He was great for 3 years on in a kind of a rough time for Clemson.
Right.
Well, I guess really probably more like 2 years. For his freshman year, he didn't play a ton, but he was a guy that undersized. Wasn't the most athletically gifted, but one of the smartest football players that Clemson has had, and that's why he was successful. And I think he's an All-American his junior year. I think you got to throw him in there. And we didn't even mention the third Simmons, Wayne Simmons. To show love to another. He was Danny Ford, the late Danny Ford, early Ken Hatfield years. I'm pretty sure. Another multi-year All-American. Clemson and the Clemson linebackers with the last name Simmons. I think that kind of just needs to be the formula. Just find whoever his last name is Simmons and get
whoever Simmons is, just recruit that guy at linebacker. Don't even worry about it. It'd be great. He was 1989 to 1992.
I believe he was wasn't he I believe he was a first round pick coming out. I want to say.
He was the 15th overall pick.
Okay.
In 1993 to the Green Bay Packers.
Dope. Yeah. And there's other guys like we're gonna have to other guys like you're gonna have to leave off this list. That's what sucks.
Yeah. Another one, Ed McDaniel.
Yeah,
Money in the comment section.
Man, Ed McDaniel.
Ed McDaniel.
I feel like he probably needs to be in there somewhere, but
yeah.
I don't know. There's just so many guys we could talk about.
That's what's hard about like when we do these lists, and it's kind of just me and you going back and forth. Is just like you start remembering so many different names. You're like, oh man, I forgot about that guy.
Yeah,
I can't leave him off the list.
Okay, so who's your number one? Because mine's Isaiah Simmons. Isaiah Simmons is the best linebacker I've ever seen play at Clemson.
I agree. I agree with Isaiah Simmons for sure. I'm with you.
I know others. Others will probably disagree. Tiger Tom mentioned. Yeah, we talked about Jeff Davis. I know a lot of fans would probably have him as their number one, especially with what he meant to the program and as a member of that championship team.
Yeah, that first ever national championship team. He's definitely top 5, no doubt about it.
Those guys just tend to stick out more. I think too. I got to go with Anthony Simmons, but
yeah,
when you're a 3-time All-American,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, 3-time AP All-American. Yeah, I feel like you got to be top 2. Man, it's so hard because then you got Leavon Kirkland, you got Jeff Davis, you got Ben Boulware,
Keith Adams.
I think I go Ben number 3.
Okay.
Just because, like, I know, and again, it's recency bias, but it's also just what Ben Boulware means to Clemson as a program. And then I think you got Leavon Kirkland.
Yeah, I think you have to have. I think Leavon Kirkland's got to be in there in that top 5 somewhere.
Yeah, and I mean he could. Yeah, Leavon Kirkland. So you got Isaiah Simmons, Anthony.
Yeah, Anthony Simmons.
You
went Ben Boulware. I'm going to go Jeff Davis at 3.
Jeff Davis.
I just feel like you can't have Jeff Davis lower than 3.
So there you go. Isaiah Simmons, Anthony Simmons, Jeff Davis, Ben Boulware, Leavon Kirkland. Top 5.
I think that's a pretty comprehensive top 5. Showing love to the
old guys. And then showing love to some of the new blood at Clemson as well. So
it means you have to cut some guys. Sorry.
You got to cut. And look, there's no easy way to do it. Like there's plenty of dudes on that list that you could make legitimate arguments to be top 5, but we got to narrow it down somehow. So Isaiah Simmons, Anthony Simmons, Jeff Davis, Ben Boulware, Leavon Kirkland. There you go. There's your top 5.
Yeah.